Geneva is world famous for being a financial hotspot. Currency markets and economic news dominate conversations, so where better to have an organisation just for this. The ISAG is the Investment Strategists Association of Geneva, and joining me today is the President, Mortaza Assad, and one of the members, John Plassard. Thanks for joining me so much.
Thank you, Kate.
Can you tell me more about ISAG?
The ISAG, the Investment Association, is been created in 2009 by a group of strategists in town, and we felt a little lonely within our own sphere, and we thought it would be a good idea to gather and have a platform for discussion. So it's really a forum for discussion on investment strategy, economic analysis, and main event, main catalyst of what would drive the market going forward. For our own interest and also for our clients. So we really started by a small group, and then we really were joined by most of the strategists of the marketplace in Geneva, mostly private banks, with strategists, chief investment officer, chief economist, or even people managing portfolios. So one per bank, and really representing the investment strategy of the bank.
And could you tell me a little bit more about the members of ISAG?
So we are about 20 members. Most of the large banks in Geneva are represented. I could name a few like Pictet, Lombard-Odier, BNP, Société Générale. So we have Swiss Bank, also a foreign subsidiary of foreign banks. We have also HSBC. We even have some brokers who have domestic research in Geneva, like Louis Capital Market with John, and some hedge funds, but mostly it's private banking.
And what sort of activities do ISAG do?
In fact, we have a monthly meeting with all the members, and also a quarterly roundtable, and we have a consensus going out of it. And this consensus is brought into our website and in the newspaper too.
So every month we gather in a hotel. We have a breakfast, and we have a discussion about either on the global strategy of each bank and to build this consensus. This is the quarterly discussion, the quarterly roundtable, and every other meetings we either have a special guest with a special team, or just a discussion about one or two main questions about what is really driving the market on this specific issue. That could be the Greek default, that could be the Swiss economy or the intervention of the Swiss National Bank, or there could be a guest with a team about sustainable energy or sustainable economics, or it could be also a European crisis with some special guests from European countries.
So you mentioned you sometimes have guests. What guests have you had recently?
We were very proud to have recently a very famous guest, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, for a lunch. Otherwise, we often have more European guests. We had Christian de Boissieu, economist, professor in the Sorbonne, in Paris. We had also Jean-Pierre Dantine, chairman a member of the National Swiss Bank, and we have a couple of investment professionals across the globe that we are interested to hear. And last year we also had a special forum with Jim Rogers.
So you've just had your March consensus. What roughly were the outcomes of that?
Right now, the average strategist or the consensus in Geneva is quite bullish, quite biased toward risky asset to a certain extent. We've been cautious last year, and since the beginning of the year, we see an upgrade on the sentiment on equities, especially with an increase in the weighting. So right now, most of the portfolio, at least on a strategic basis, are neutral on equities, with an overweight in credit. On the fixed income side, credit has been favored by a lot of people. And interestingly, the target of the S&P, that the consensus came out with early this year was 1,400. So we're about there. So I think it's maybe consistent with being neutral. But globally, the sentiment from what we can extract from either the survey or the discussion was a quite constructive sentiment.
In addition to the consensus, we are also asking some questions to our members. And for example, Murtaza, you can maybe say the question, very important question we asked in 2009 about Greece.
Yeah, 2 years ago, in February 2010, late 2009, we came up with this question about Greece going to default or not. This was asked to the consensus. Other questions were about the sustainability of the 120 from the National Swiss Bank last year, and consensus was pretty much confident that the Swiss Bank would hold it. We also were quite prescient at the consensus level with the French sovereign rating being downgraded. And so maybe the question of the day we have here is about the Greece leaving the euro in 2012, and only 24% of the members think Greece will leave the euro. So this is a question that we try to put forward when we have a critical team.
Well, thanks to both of you for joining me here today. Great introduction to ISAG there.
Thank you.
And we'll be hearing more from ISAG every month, so make sure you stay tuned to DukascopyTV.